Hello, my name is Damon Friedman, co-founder and president of SOF Missions. As a 20-year veteran within Special Operations, I've gone through many challenges due to my military service and time in combat. We felt called to start SOF Missions to serve our fellow brothers and sisters in arms, focusing on suicide prevention and resiliency. Our mission at SOF Missions is to empower warriors to find purpose and be resilient. Since 2011, when we started the organization, almost 3 million men and women have deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. Unfortunately, the scars of war take a toll on their psychological, physical, social, and spiritual health. Many veterans feel a sense of hopelessness and a loss of purpose when they return to civilian life. They feel isolated and alone, unable to reconnect. And in the greatest of tragedies, over 20 veterans lose all hope and take their own lives. Our goal at SOF Missions is to provide veterans the tools and resources so that they don't become a statistic. We offer a unique approach to combating veteran suicide through a whole health intradisciplinary model. The Be Resilient program is a 4-pillar methodology that addresses the areas of psychological, physical, social, and spiritual wellness. We provide care through 3 delivery methods: medical clinics, retreats, and educational training. Since we started back in 2011, we have been able to reach veterans in all 50 states and have served over 3,000 veterans through the Be Resilient program. Being resilient is a multifaceted and complex issue. We know that to find a lasting solution, we have to address the whole warrior. Many challenges cannot be solved by providing the treatments and modalities of just one component, but by tackling them all. Now, we've expanded our services to include law enforcement and first responders. Together, we can make a lasting impact in the lives of warriors across the nation. To learn more, visit our website at sofmissions.org.
Proceed to your post assignment. All units proceed to your post assignment.
All right. Welcome back.
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation. The Misfit Nation Show.
We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation Show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_Misfit Nation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
Do you want to share the story of a loved one lost in combat or after service? Reach out. We are looking for 3 more shows for Memorial Week, the 25th, the 26th, and the 28th. 3 more guests to share their stories. Reach out to us at info@themisfitnation.com. Now, it's time. Grab a buttered biscuit. Get ready as the thunder rolls. The building shakes. The boys are fresh. 1 week in the making. Lacey is pumped for his next trip to the motherland. Cagney is fresh on his day off in the world according to Daloob and the hunt for the infamous douche Vinia. Put on your seat tray up in the locked and ready position. Crank down on those harnesses and let's get ready to rock and roll. Because as you know, the boys are back. Now get it, boys.
The boys are back in town. Good
Yes, we
evening,
are.
Misfit Nation.
Good evening, Misfit Nation. Welcome to the Toosday Crew, and we hope you all are doing well. Good evening, Stephen.
These intros get better and better every week, don't they?
Oh, they do. You got to give it to the producer. He's
He
on
fun doing this, yeah.
it. He is on it. He is on it. So, how was your day off?
It was good. Ran errands, took care of things like always.
Good
How about
deal.
yours?
It was a good day.
Did you get the rain you were expecting the other day?
No. Well, we got a little bit, and then last night, like about 3 miles before it got to us, it just kind of shifted off to the north, and it tracked northwest and went right around us.
That's good. You saved you from a headache.
Yes, but I'm sure that I'm planning on cutting grass tomorrow, so I'm sure we're going to get more rain.
I'm going to have rain all day tomorrow.
Yes. Hey, if you're out there listening for the first time, do not forget to like and subscribe and share. Get us out there, and we appreciate you doing that, because the more people that hear us, the more people we can get to, and maybe just maybe we can help somebody out, save a life. So, Misfit Nation, tonight, I hope you like music. You like music, Stephen?
I think I do, yes.
Hey, I love music, and tonight we have an indie band. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Hecojeni. It's Jeff and Heath. They are a duo, and they was making music for a long time ago, and then they spent 30 years apart. One went into the IT profession. The other went in to the Marine Corps. Well, recently they have reunited, started making music again, rediscovered their passion for songwriting. So without any further ado, let's get Jeff and Heath in here.
Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
It's an honor to be here.
Hey, Jeff and Heath, I gave about a 5-second intro as to who y'all were and what y'all do. And I know I can tell by your gray beard, Heath, that there's more to you than that 5 seconds. So won't you guys just kind of tell your stories, start from wherever you want, and how we got here today?
Jeff, why don't you go first?
Sure, yeah. So, Heath and I met in college. Interesting story. We didn't find this out until this past year. We actually both went to a concert when we were about 15, and it was both of our first concerts. We were both there, and we didn't know each other. We would meet each other 3 or 4 years later, and it was New Edition was the headliner, and then Houdini and the Fat Boys were the opening acts.
Nice.
And so that's my first concert ever, and I find out 40 years later, Heath was at that same concert in Montgomery, Alabama. So he and I were talking about first concerts, and that came up. And we're like, no way. And I'm kind of a pack rat's the wrong word. I'm an archivist, I think. And I had the ticket stub, and I showed him a picture. I'm like, here, New Edition, March 3rd, 1985 or whatever it was. This is crazy.
I was going to say, y'all showing your age a little bit. I'm going to show my first concert was Nazareth and Thin Lizzy.
Nice.
So, yeah,
right. So, we both, we then went to Auburn University, and I was committed to start a band. In fact, I'd never really played in high school, and I bought a bass guitar from Sears magazine with my graduation money from my grandparents. So I bought the world's cheapest bass guitar and got to fraternity and hooked up with some other folks there. Then Heath came in the next year, and we started this band, and we were terrible, you know, like in the fraternity house basement playing Wild Thing and Should I Stay or Should I Go? But we kept at it, and, you know, those 10,000 hours kick in at some point, and we got to be a really good live act. Our lead singer was probably, we would have been nothing without him. He was good looking. He was crazy dancing. We'd have people lined up to see us. We played all through Auburn, all the bars, tourist stories. And then maybe a year into that, we got an agent out of Nashville, and we started playing throughout the Southeast. And we could play just about as much as we wanted to. And yeah, it was my part-time job in college, and same with Heath and most of the other guys. And I think Heath and I probably were the five of us at the end. We'd cycle through, I mean, so many band stories, cycle through other members. We wrote our own songs, started writing our own songs. We produced a CD. You know, this is like 1991. That was cutting edge.
Yeah.
And we thought we were so cool. We moved to Atlanta. We're going to make it. And then we all kind of took straight jobs. And that was the end of that dream. Got married, started having kids.
Yeah. That life kind of gets in the way of stuff like it. Yeah. And so you're a bass player.
That's right. Yep.
All right. You know what you call a bass player without a girlfriend?
No.
Homeless. Sorry. I just had to throw that in there.
No. I saw this. I'm kind of addicted to TikTok. I was just TikToking, and it's like this music producer, and he's describing to the drummer how he's going to mic his drums. He's got this on the kick and the bottom of the snare, top of the snare, room mics, things in the hallway. And, you know, it's like 30 different mics. And the bass player's like, what about me? He goes, just give me that chord. And then one of the comments was, yeah, and hand the bass to the guitarist. he's going to record the track. You may be great on stage, but we don't trust you to record it.
Hey, I shouldn't be
pick it up from there, man.
I shouldn't be talking. I cannot play any instrument.
Oh, anybody can play the bass. I can get you playing Wild Thing in about 3 minutes.
Okay, well,
you just gotta look cool.
Yeah, hey, you know,
If he could play with that headset on, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shut up about my headset. Okay. Hey, I've got another gig after this talking to astronauts, so get off my back.
Right.
All right, Heath, why don't you pick up the story at that point?
All right. Well, let's see. So first of all, I've done a little research on you guys, and you're doing some great work in the veteran community. So I guess I'm going to steer this a little bit towards my journey and kind of how I wound up here. Like Jeff mentioned, after school, we all took corporate jobs, me included. And for the next 10 years, I was an executive recruiter. The event during 9/11, actually, I was on an assignment in Ireland, working corporate job, and I was really homesick, everything that was going on here in America. And my father, let me back up for a second. I grew up, my father was First Force Recon Vietnam Marine, just really, big shoes to fill. I kind of always took pride in the fact that I was never going to go into the military. And, I did my own little hippie thing, and that just wasn't me. When 9/11 happened, I was in Ireland living. And like I said, I got really homesick, and I was kind of looking for local shoulders to cry on. And the problem with the Irish is they've been dealing with the IRA for 50 plus years. So there was really no sympathy there at all. It was more like, you got what you had coming, Heath. Foreign policy was too aggressive. And so I got really frustrated. I'm kind of a slave to knee-jerk reaction, but I decided to quit my job and fly back to the U.S. and join the Marine Corps. Problem was I was 32 at the time. The cutoff age was 28. Anyway, I wound up coming back. I wound up quitting my job. I came back and got an age waiver. and became a grunt Marine. 2002, and be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew Afghanistan was on the plate. Iraq was this weird thing out of nowhere, but I was never doing the Marine Corps for a career. I kind of wanted to do my part. And like I said, I had 3 combat tours. Did Afghanistan once, Fallujah, Iraq. But anyway, kind of related to what you guys do. When I got out, I had a pretty rough time. I went to work for the State Department in DC briefly, but I wasn't geared up to do anything like that, especially in Washington DC. And so after a year, I was really struggling. I kind of went off the grid. Wasn't keeping in touch with Jeff, or anybody for that matter. So for the next 10 years or so, it was really, we'll just call it a gray area in my life. After that period, I stayed in touch with my family and stuff, but kind of got my act together a little bit, and I opened up a donut shop in Port Royal, South Carolina, called Maynard's. It's still there, actually.
Nice.
And decided it was time for me to, straighten up and get back into the world. And so I still wasn't 100% there yet, though. I had a girlfriend / business partner that we owned the little donut cafe with. We decided to sell it. This is kind of where I had my epiphany. You never go in business with family or friends. It's just rough. Never, 99% of the time, it doesn't end up well. And this was the case with us. We were butting heads, and we sold the business. And one of my neighbors had a floating box, a 50-foot marine trader yacht that he kept moored a half mile offshore. Right, actually, I could see Paris Island from where it was. But I mean, it was, when I say a floating box, I mean, it was just a floating box. Call it a yacht is an overstatement. But anyway, to escape this woman, partner, ex-girlfriend of mine, I went to my neighbor and I said, look, man, let me rent this boat. I need to get, offshore. She's angry. She can't get to me out there. And I was just going to do it for 2 weeks. He said, yeah, you can rent it. And so I took a kayak out to it. And 2 weeks turned into 2 years. I was, very isolated out there. Had, wound up having solar, wound up getting internet. It was livable. It was more than a floating box in a while. But I spent the next 2 years pretty much at sea and kind of away from everyone. And the guy I rented it from had made the comment to me. He said, be careful about trying to find God, because you'll find him out there. And he's an old captain, really versed at being on the water. And it changed me. Just had a lot of time, not just to reflect, but a lot of time to connect to the universe, and had a lot of really cool things happen at night out there. And some things that you can't explain any other way than, it's just a real connection to God. Yes. And I'm lucky that I have Jeff in my life, because he was constantly looking for me at one point. I think he sent me a care package at boot camp. I'm not sure if I got it or not, but Jeff has been a really great friend to me. The band he was talking about back in college, it was a really incredible experience. We had some gigs where the venue was, a few thousand people. It was a big, it was a big thing. It was really fortunate to get to experience that. But Jeff was relentless about kind of keeping up with me and keeping tabs on me. And he got a hold of me. I can't remember exactly how, after I'd been out at sea for a couple of years, and we started talking, and he said, hey man, I've got this studio in Greenville, South Carolina. Oh, I had to get off the boat. The guy wanted his boat back. So like, he started kind of coming on board and complaining about the cleanliness and stuff. And I had to remind him it was a floating box until I got there, but it was obvious that he wanted me off the boat. So anyway, my money was no good anymore. It was time to come back to the world. And Jeff had gotten a hold of me. I came here to Greenville. I'm in the studio right now that he's put together, but came here to Greenville. We started writing music again. And here it is a year later. And I'm just, really grateful to kind of be here and be a part of this ride. We've got some really good songs. We're releasing one actually as we speak that I'm pretty proud of. We'll have a series of releases of a lot. We've written about 30 songs in the last year. We've finally got one that I would consider as fully produced and mixed and over with, and I won't cringe when I hear it. So
where's it going to be released? Is it going to be like on Spotify or something?
That's right. It'll be on all the streaming platforms, Spotify and iTunes. And
Okay.
It's called Human Race, and I'm like my own worst critic. I can't listen to my music. If it were up to me, I'd never put anything out in the ether. Nothing's ever done. I always want to retake. And Jeff has got an ear, and he's kind of the opposite. He is really comfortable in his own skin, and he'll put everything out there and into the public. So this is the first song that we've kind of put together that I can live with and actually be excited about that's coming out. It's called Human Race, and it's pretty rocking song.
All right. Well, looking forward to hearing it. And I just want to mention, you touched on something that Jeff, he kind of found you, was keeping in touch with you and keeping tabs on you. It's amazing. And if we're lucky in life, we have that one friend.
Yep.
And I've got one, and he must know or sense something, or God tells him or something that, hey, you need to call Jake. And he'll call me. I'll get a phone call, and he's like, hey man, just check and see how you were doing. And, and need anything. And it is amazing you feel really blessed to have friends, like you have Jeff. It's an amazing feeling to have that.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
See, I took it as a different way, because when he said he still had the stub and he remembered the exact date, that brings up my friend Vinny that grew up next door to me. He is the Wayback Machine. He'll come out of nowhere and say, you remember what we did on July 17th in 1978? Do you remember climbing that tree and falling and blah, blah, blah? And I look at him like, how the fuck do you remember all this? And that's what I got out of Jeff. You got the good friend looking out for you. I got the he's in the Wayback Machine, remembering things from 50 years ago that I don't even remember my name back then. Sometimes.
and I want to commend y'all. Y'all went to college in Alabama, and you went to the right one.
War Eagle.
War Eagle. You know it.
Yeah, you can't be for Alabama. That's like pulling for Darth Vader in the Empire. It's like
if Alabama was playing the Taliban, I would pull for the Taliban.
Right.
Yes, probably so.
I saw a thing at COVID. It said one team had to give up their football season so that everybody else could play. Why did you pick Alabama?
Well, yeah, I'm a long life. Do not like the Crimson Tide. Now, my wife, she is from North Alabama. She is a Crimson Tide fan, but
you see Florence, where in North Alabama?
She is from a little bitty bump in the road just on the south side of Huntsville called Lacey Spring.
Yeah, we got a few of those in Alabama.
Yes, yes, but most of I think all of us here on the show, the producer, Steven, myself, we are all diehard Notre Dame fans.
Oh, Lord. How'd that happen?
Well, I'm Catholic and originally from Indiana, so I have to be.
Yep, there you go.
Congratulations on your Pope. It's pretty exciting.
Oh,
hey,
really?
I'm a Reformed Catholic, so Yeah, I haven't had a pope in a few years, but yeah, yeah. At least you didn't say that you went to school in Tuscaloosa.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay, what's that? Montrose 36. Lacey, are you driving a truck now with that headgear? No, I can, but no, I don't. I'm getting a little too long in the tooth for that.
I knew somebody had to come out with that.
Yes.
I was waiting.
So, guys, what's your songwriting process? How do y'all sit down and crack a few and figure out what you're gonna, or do you just life experience?
Well, I'll start. Like one of the reasons I kept trying to find Heath was I can't sing at all. And so I write, and I'm not that great of I play guitar too. I'm not that great of a guitarist or bass player. And so when I play, I was trying to explain this to Heath the other day, and he didn't quite believe me. I'm like, I can't sit there and play like a bunch of songs around the campfire. I don't remember them. Like the 30 or 40 songs that we knew in our cover band, those are the songs that I would sit and play because I know them. But I don't learn other songs. And so when I sit down with a guitar, I just fool around with it until I write something that sounds cool, a little riff or a couple chords. And I'm always searching for something that's not just GCD or whatever, which is just the standard, circle of fifths chords that every song in the world practically is like that, whether it's Katy Perry or Bon Jovi or Led Zeppelin. Or Bach, right? I mean, they're all written in that same GCD pattern. So I'm always looking for something slightly different, but it sounds cool together. But then for me to write a melody on top of that, I tried that a couple times in the old band, and they're just terrible. It sounds like no melody at all, really. And so Heath can write melodies to my crazy little riffs. And those are the better songs, I think, that we had in the old band. That's one way we write them. And so I write the music, and Heath will write the melody, and we'll write the words together. The other way we write them is Heath channels from the universe a full, complete song. 3 verses, a chorus, a change, a solo, and that's it. And it's a finished song. And those are great songs too. So those are the two ways that we kind of write songs, I think.
So
nice.
Heath, what color crayon do you chew on while you're thinking of music?
I knew the Marine Corps jokes were coming. What you got? I haven't eaten yet.
One reason I kept looking for Heath, it's like nobody else could write melodies on the music. So I had 100 songs I had written that just kind of sitting around, but can't put a melody to it. So
Jeff writes some really unique, kind of weird songs. I mean, I consider myself a metalhead, a grunge. I love Tool and Soundgarden, but our music, it creates itself. It's not, you can't really classify it as anything. Yes, Human Race is rocking, but we've got a lot of other songs that, range from Frank Sinatra sounding to, the Gorillas. I mean, just kind of weird how it creates itself. But
so basically, it's like my playlist on Spotify. Frank Sinatra, Beastie Boys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look out.
Bon Jovi, The Who. It's just all over the damn place.
Yeah.
Biggie
Jeff loves the Beastie Boys. We've got some rap stuff that I would say kind of is Beastie Boys influence, wouldn't you, Jeff?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we cover one Beastie Boy song.
That's right.
You throw Elvis in there. My music is all over the damn place.
That's like me. I got everything from Motorhead to.
Yes, sir. Lenny just got a statue, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. I can't remember exactly where it is, but I just read an article on that. But yeah, it's funny you would mention Motorhead.
I got to see them live in Fulda, Germany, and it
really,
it was
loud.
It was loud. It was amazing. It was,
I bet.
There's nothing like it.
I have a kind of a weird Motorhead story. It's worth telling real quick. Motorhead was kicking off their world tour. This was back in '93 at the Whiskey in Los Angeles. I was recruiting for Ernst & Young at the time, and they had flown me out to maybe come on board on their side, not as a contractor, but to work for Ernst & Young. And I got to LA, and I had to go see, Sunset Strip. River Phoenix had just died at the Viper Room. So I went to the Viper Room, Johnny Depp on that to check that out. But anyway, long story short, Motorhead was kicking off their world tour at the Whiskey across the street. And there was just a long line of leather-clad, spiked, tattooed, wearing people, waiting to get in. I had been drinking a lot and decided, I'd come up with a story and try to get in. I didn't have tickets. So I cut in front of everybody in line. I said, I'm Heath Cobb from Crescent Moon Talent. I'm on the guest list. Crescent Moon Talent was our agent in the Chillbumps. So I, kind of had a little bit. But anyway, the guy looked at his list and he's like, no, Mr. Cobb, I'm sorry, you're not on the guest list. It's like, oh, check again. And then he's like, no, I don't see you. Well, about that time, a hand grabbed me on the shoulder and pulled me around. And it was this punk looking guy who was on the guest list. And he got his tickets and he turned around at me and he said, ha, 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 ha. And it was Puck from the Real World San Francisco, which I didn't like that guy anyway. So I was pissed that Puck was on the guest list and I wasn't. So anyway, there happened to be an inflatable raft, dolphin raft, somebody in line, throwing beach balls and stuff. I grabbed it and proceeded to, mess with Puck. Give me that ticket. Give me that ticket. Puck was trying to hawk one of his tickets. He finally gave up, flipped me the bird, and went inside. And needless to say, I didn't get inside to see Motorhead. So I'm jealous that you got to see him in Germany. I tried in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it was an experience. You can't explain it. I got a question here from Clesley Ann. What was the moment that sparked your decision to reconnect and make music again after 30 years? Thank you for that question.
So I'll go. So I found out Heath was in the donut shop, which is just hilarious. And he would text us a little bit. Gotta effing wake up and make the donuts, like that stupid commercial.
Or I got Duncan.
And so I was down playing golf with some buddies in Georgia on the coast. I'm like, I'm gonna come by and see you. He's like, all right. So I came by, and maybe a year or two before, I had during COVID, I had with my wife, my then girlfriend, now wife, we had went on a road trip, and I built a mobile recording studio, and she sings. So we went all over the South recording songs, and so I packed that up and brought that to Heath's, and we recorded one song there in his little house next to the donut shop, and then that was right before Heath went on the boat, and we were talking about doing more music, and Heath just dropped off the face of the earth. And like we're texting one day, and then the next day, no text. And the next, hey man, you there? Hey, you there? And so in response to that, I mixed that song. And that's when I created the name of the band, which is, it's a little bit of an inside joke. It's the first two letters of his first name, last name, then my first name, last name. So H-E-C.
Okay.
So that's where it comes from. I picked that name because when you go to pick a band name, it's tricky. They're all taken, right? And there's a million bands out there. But there's nobody called this name.
And we all know if the band name sucks, the band sucks.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
I saw that in a movie.
And so really the question now is, well, how do you pronounce it, right? And so you said Hecojeni, I think.
Yes.
I sometimes say Hecojeni, which makes it sound Eastern, which I think is cool. So anyhow, I went on Fiverr as part of our marketing plan. I went on Fiverr and I got people from all over the world to print it out and go out on the street. Hey, how do you pronounce this name? And there's people from like Latvia. There's people from India. There's people from Africa. And it's funny because they all pronounce it the same kind of within their little village, but everybody pronounces it somewhat differently. So you can pronounce it however you want. That's the answer.
There's no right or wrong.
No right or wrong.
Awesome. That is awesome.
Well, it's like looking at my name, Stephn. How do you say it? Is it Stephen? Is it
Steven.
I get called
Go on.
everything. Okay, another question.
Go ahead, Steven.
Sunburn Ass 09. How has your time apart, one in the military, one in production, shaped your sound and creative process? Thank you, Sunburn Ass 09. That was a good question.
Go ahead, Heath. I answered the last one.
Well, for me, and I don't want to try to sound like I'm sounding cool or weirdo or anything like that, but I've noticed there is an obvious awakening, I believe very strongly, that's happening in the world, here in the U.S. and everywhere, and I've kind of stumbled upon a few things, with consciousness and being part of something bigger than just myself, like us all being connected, which I saw in the military. I mean, in Iraq, there were fathers and kids, and they wanted safety for their kids, and they just wanted a better life. I mean, it's all the same, but recently it became very profound to me. And a lot of what we're writing, I think reflects kind of some of that. It's about love. It's about connectedness. It's about consciousness. It's about, the flow and kind of being a part of something that is important. I try to really focus on joy, and the music, I think, reflects a lot of that. My mom likes it, and which is, she wouldn't like it to sound like Soundgarden, too much, or there were cuss words in the lyrics. I'm not saying there won't be cuss words in the lyric, but we're not limiting ourselves. But the music is kind of coming out in a form, I think, that reflects a lot of what I'm feeling is kind of happening in the world. And I hope some of this stuff is positive for the listeners.
Good deal. I mean, using life experiences and just using what feels, what moves you. I mean, it's poetry set to a tune, man.
Yeah, you can't think
music is just a story being told. So
I saw Paul McCartney one time talking. He's like, he was 80 or 75. He's like, in my head, I still feel like I'm 14. Like I got my songs in my head. I'm trying to play them. And I read something along the way, and it basically said this: don't leave anything unreleased. Like, don't hold it inside of you. There's something inside of you that needs to be out in the ether. And so that's what my drive is a little bit. Let's get songs down. I'm big first take. Let's get it. Nail it. And then let's get it and push it out.
Drives me nuts, but
so
yeah.
Heath and I are on the opposite side of that. That creates a little tension. Like, you're like, don't you want to do it again? I'm like, it's good.
He'll get mad at me because I want to retake something, and he'll say, nope.
One of our songs I wrote, he and my wife were chit-chatting off to the side, right there where he is, off to the side, and we had gotten a new amp, and it had a setting called Johnny Marr. It's one of my favorite guitarists. So I turned it, from the Smiths. So I play it. I start playing these chords. I turn on the recording studio, put on a beat, the headphones, and I'm playing. And boom, that's it. I nailed it. And so, like, a month later, he's written a vocal to it, which is great. And he's like, we need to re-record the whole song. I'm like, it's fine. It's got drums, bass, guitar, and it's got your vocal on it now. Because it was like, it doesn't even go in order. I'm like, it goes in the order that I made that day. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Drives me nuts.
I got a couple more questions here. One is from Lego My Ego.
Ego.
Oh, Lego My Ego. How do you navigate the modern music industry as independent artists coming from such unique backgrounds?
Jeff is all over this one.
Yeah. So I think it's weird because, in early 90s, the pattern was you had to play out live. You had to go to these clubs. You had to get noticed by a label, and you had to sign with a label, record a record, go on some crappy tour, and then hopefully get into some bigger tour. And that was the path we were on a little bit. Although we played enough cover gigs that we, got our money together, made our own CD, which that kind of put us in the indie of the indies. Today, it's not like that as much. I think it is if you're a pop star. There's a machine, right, where their producers are really more important, I think, than singers. It's just my view.
Mm-hmm.
But the TikTokification of the music industry is anybody can have a moment, right? And so I'm pretty studious of what some of those trends are. And so it's things like this. We're going to release a single every 6 weeks. We're going to have 100 pieces of content around each single, video content. And so we're going to be relentless in releasing video in TikTok and Instagram and in YouTube Shorts. And then we're going to release another single with another 100 videos. And that's our path forward, I think, to gain momentum in this market. And so there's a lot of things that the 5 of us could get together, 4 of us could record this and put it on Spotify tonight as a single, and it would be on Spotify. It's not hard. What's hard is there's 60,000 new songs on Spotify every day.
Yes.
So the way to cut through that is difficult. You have to be special. You have to have good songs. Of course, everybody who puts a song on Spotify thinks that they have the magic potion, probably. Heath and I, too, we think we have the magic potion. We have good songs. We have some life experience that probably a lot of people don't have. We're varied background. I think we're going to, my measurement of success is probably less about, monthly listeners and all that. It's more about engagement. If we had 100 people that we were engaged with and that was interested and waiting, hey, sending us text messages, when's the next single drop? Supposed to be in 4 weeks. Is it going to drop? That's a measurement of success. There's another little paradigm, which is you have 1,000 super fans per band member. That's enough to sustain a career.
Yes.
And so you want 1,000 people that are willing to listen to every release. That's kind of easy. But buy a T-shirt a year, probably, maybe 2. Buy a sticker or a magnet a year. Come see your shows when you're in their town. And maybe join your Patreon account for $5 a month. So all of a sudden you get 100,000 people, or you get 1,000 people like that spending $100 a year. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the way we're going to navigate this a little bit is a TikTok single release strategy, and then what is the way to monetize that over time? So that's
Now you're all on Facebook and Instagram. And
we're back. We're ready, right? We have.
Okay.
In fact, I've been using ChatGPT for probably about a year to build this release checklist. What's the checklist? What's due today? And so right now, I don't know if he's the boss of me or if I'm the boss of him, but we have a plan and we're trying to track to that plan every day. And the release date will be June 30th. And so we have accounts, but we haven't really pushed anything in those accounts until we have this single. So that's the process.
All right.
And I just want to interject one thing. I'm old school, and to me, at the end of the day, it all boils down to if you hear one of my songs and you're singing it in the car later, or you're singing it in the shower, it's got to be catchy. It's got to be something that gets somebody motivated. They enjoy. Maybe they listen to it working out. So anyway, Jeff, I'm very fortunate to be able to ride his coattails and his marketing strategy. I am so technologically unaware of everything. I don't have social media. I don't have any of that stuff. So
it's a miracle that he has his phone working to record this podcast.
Yes, I told him that.
So he has a stack of papers and a
300
staple gun
between he and I today to get this. I'm proud of you, Heath.
Thank you, buddy.
So he runs around to the telephone poles and staples posters up saying,
yeah, we have some of those stories.
This T-shirt. This is an old poster from the Chillbumps.
Nice. Got a couple more questions. Got one from Bama Sucks 84.
Nice.
Jeff, which lake is
This
behind
is
you?
beautiful Lake Martin and Auburn, or between Auburn and Birmingham, Alabama.
It is beautiful. Thank you, Bama Sucks. Love the screen name, bud.
Next
And
one. Next one up is at True Believer Jeans. What's the story behind your single Only in My Mind?
I'll take that, I think, and then Heath, you can expand on the words maybe. So that song was a bass riff. It's I don't even know if there's a guitar. I guess there's a guitar solo, but it's primarily bass and vocals. And I think that song is, Heath talked a little bit earlier about being in the flow. I think that song has some lyrics that go to that exact idea. Like, I'm only one lyric I wrote, I think, was I'm only holy in my mind. So I grew up Southern Baptist, and I remember very vividly as a kid, if you drank as a kid, you were a terrible person. And if you didn't drink, you were a great person. And I went to church in one city, went to high school in another, and all my high school buddies drank, and I didn't. I was a Southern Baptist growing up, so I didn't. And they all did, but they were my best friends. And so there was this weird dichotomy of that can't be the only thing. And so it felt to me, and then I knew I had church friends who didn't drink, but they weren't, holy really. So that's where that kind of lyric comes from. And what I want to be is not holy in my mind. I want to be holy as we interact with people. Right? That's where I think the measurement really is. So that's a lyric that I think is important in that song.
nice. Another question popped up from Delilah and Samson. What advice would you give to anyone who put their passion on pause but wants to pursue it again?
Get your kids off your payroll. That's the number one advice I have. Then the world is your oyster. So once they have their own health insurance and pay their own cell phone bill, you can put together a studio. Heath's right there in our awesome studio in Greenville, South Carolina. So, I think just keeping at it. Life is tough. Like when you raise kids or your career, or it's just life is tough. And I was watching a show the other day, and it was like, how do you break into the music industry? And it was like, well, I think being financially independent and having family connections to the music industry. Those are two things you should have.
Yes.
So, but people have dreams, and they have, ways of expressing that they need to get out. And I think it's just trying to not let it go when life is overwhelming, and to keep, I always had a studio. My kids grew up with those same drums right behind Heath, and lights and mics, and my daughter, my oldest turned 27 today. So I always had that stuff around me. I just didn't have enough time to really explore it. And then the kids are kind of gone, and all of a sudden you got a little more time, and it works out.
Hey,
what do you think, Heath? What was your journey like?
No, I just think you can't let fear and stress kind of hold you back. You only live once, and if there's something you want to do, you go for it. There's no reason to have fear be part of the process. I mean, you can fall down and get right back up. So that's about all I have to say about that.
Well, I tell you what, we're wishing you guys. I'm looking forward to June 30th.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm
You can get a sneak peek. If you go out on Hecojeni.com, there's a way to get to the songs before the full release. So
Drunk me nuts because they're not ready. Only one of them's ready, but Jeff has them out there.
they're all ready.
They're all ready. Just one take Jeff.
They're all ready.
So any one particular band or couple bands that maybe had the most influence on y'all?
Yeah, my two are REM and the Beastie Boys. I think they're the two greatest bands of all time, actually. I've seen them both several times, and I know most of their work. And they both ushered in movements at some level. They both grew over time, multi-decade hits. So I think both of them are interesting artists in that they were like out of place and out of time, right? Like white rappers in '84. Come on, that was, and then guitar-based rock in '81, '82, when everything was going kind of disco new wave. But they were so talented and so good and so aware of who they were and where they wanted to be. There's a great Michael Stipe quote when they were young, like their first album in '83, Murmur, was #1 album by Rolling Stone, but there's no hits, there's no radio play, anything. So he's being interviewed, maybe '84, is like, are you guys ready for radio? And he goes, I don't know that radio's ready for us yet.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be true, right? You fast forward 4 or 5 years, and then shoom, here's Out of Time. And same kind of thing with the Beastie Boys. They almost came on the scene as this make-believe band of like a joke. But then they ground it out, and they kept releasing hits after hits and albums, and they morphed a bit. And both bands just grew and ushered in a movement. And like, if it wasn't for the Beastie Boys, would rap have taken over suburban white America? You know what I mean? It's like they ushered in rap to places where rap, when it was, I was into rap, and so was Heath, I guess, when it was the Houdini and Fat Boys and LL Cool J and Run DMC. But the Beastie Boys made it cool, I think, for, you know, white girls in suburbia to like rap. And then here comes Public Enemy and NWA, and boom, it turned the whole world is rap, right?
Yes.
All those artists, I'm sure, would have been successful, but the Beastie Boys certainly were right there, ushering that into a new audience. And same with REM. You know, like, you wouldn't have had a thing called alternative rock if it wasn't for REM.
No.
That's really what the '90s was alternative rock, and it's like, oh, there, it's REM. That's why it's called that.
Yeah, and then all the alternative bands that followed them.
That's right. Yeah, hundreds of them.
Yes,
thousands.
And Heath, you said you're an old metalhead from way back. So
yeah, Jeff mentioned one of them. I love Public Enemy and a couple of the songs they did with Anthrax. My favorite band is Tool. I mean, I named the little restaurant that Jeff will give me a hard time. The cafe, donut shop, Maynard's. My dog was named Maynard. My ex took my dog, but anyway, so you know,
that's a country song, man.
Yeah, that's a country
song.
Right?
She flattened your tires. She took your dog.
I have a quick aside. I had this weird IT thing where these tape drives were called Maynard tape drives, and there was a stupid story about it. And I was telling Heath, I have this word Maynards that was in my life a long time ago, you know. And he goes, "That's just the universe winking at you." So that'll be in a Hecojeni lyric someday.
I'm sure. I am sure.
The universe winking at you. Negative feedback. We delete. You can go in there and just delete those comments.
Nice.
I think all feedback's a gift, right? That's what you learn in corporate America.
You live and learn.
We're not trying to be Steely Dan as much as Heath wants to be a Steely Dan.
There's
going to be notes that are out of place. It's not perfect music. It's I think we're going to strive to be authentic. So if somebody is going to say something negative if they're saying something negative and Heath and I had made a calculated decision and not being true to ourselves, then I think I'll take that and yep, we shouldn't have done that. But if we're trying to be authentic, we like something, we think it's a good lyric or a good riff, not everybody needs to like it. There's 8 billion people here. We only need 1,000, maybe 2,000 people that really think it's the greatest band of all time, and we'll be fine.
And hey, I can guarantee you, not everybody that looked at the Mona Lisa thinks it's pretty.
That's true. That's true. Some people hate the Beatles, right? It's like, okay, you can hate the Beatles.
I don't hate them. They're not my favorite group. You mentioned Steely Dan. That's probably, they're in my top 5.
Yeah. Well, they knew how to record records. That is for sure.
Yes, they did. Well, hey, fellas, we're starting to get up into an hour.
It's awesome.
Your debut. What does success look like in the next chapter of your journey?
I think a year or two from now, if we look back, we really were able to release a song every 6 weeks, and we're building momentum, and that plan is working, and we're improving our songwriting skills, our marketing skills, and we're moving forward down a path.
Listen, I'll sell out. We get a jingle and somebody wants it for a hemorrhoid commercial. I'm fine with that.
Nice.
Hey, yeah, I'll be looking for hemorrhoid tunes to heavy metal.
Well, maybe we'll get you guys to do opening music for our show.
Hey, we'd love to, Stephen.
Well, y'all, we got a question that we ask all of our guests. First of all, thank y'all for being here.
Thank you, Jake. We appreciate it. You guys doing some good work out there for veterans.
Thank the Misfit Nation for listening. Remember, if you're feeling down, feeling alone, 988 option 1. They will talk to you. If your problem didn't get taken care of there, you reach out. Jake at themisfitnation.com. I'll send you my phone number. You can call me. I'll listen to you.
Stephen at themisfitnation.com.
And, tomorrow will be a more beautiful world with you in it. So stick around. Now, for you two, 3 non-negotiables that you have to do every day for your day to be complete.
I'm going to go first because he has a better answer than I do.
I'm very much a ritual person every day.
He's a ritual person. Mine is spend time with my wife. Probably coffee first thing. 2 is I'm going to say walk the dog. And then 3, I'm going to say accomplish something both at Hecojeni and work. I'm a doer.
Okay.
So
all right.
Heath's going to have a more eloquent answer. It'll be a great one to end on.
That's not a more eloquent answer, but Jeff's studio is right on the Swamp Rabbit Trail, which is a famous little bike riding, jogging, 18 little mile loop trail here in Greenville. So I get up, I have to run, clock some miles in, and then I get out in the sun. Obviously, I practically worship the sun, but I use it as a time to kind of meditate and reflect. And then I usually kind of kick back and write some music. So it's a little daily habit that I really enjoy. If anything interrupts this habit, I lose it. So I'm not all sunshine and rainbows yet. I'm trying to get there, but I have to kind of get those things in every day. And just I'm really grateful to have the little Swamp Rabbit Trail here too. If your listeners look it up, you'll see how cool it is.
All right. Misfit Nation. The band is Hecojeni. The website is www.hecojeni.com. And on June 30th, they are going to release and rock your world.
Human Race. Perfect. Name of the song.
Human Race. Human Race.
And what are we following on TikTok?
Hecojeni. Be on TikTok.
Okay.
Hecojeni will be on TikTok. Okay. All right, gentlemen. You have a wonderful evening. I'd like to thank everybody for jumping on. And I tell you what, we'll try to get you back on here again after your release.
Appreciate it, Jake. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All right.
Good time. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Bye.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling because we are
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.